Hello, welcome back to YouTube. Very nice to have you here on the Earle Wellbeing channel. Now, if you've been following me on my Instagram and Facebook lives this week, you will have heard that we're talking a lot about the immune system, best ways to support it, and some really interesting supplements that can help. Things that we can just add into our normal everyday diet just to help support. And yesterday, if you're watching this in real time, you may have seen me do an Instagram live with Katie, whose company is called Microbes. That's Microbes with a Z at the end. And this was a company set up by her parents about 15 years ago. And actually we featured it in my magazine. I was thinking I've got one up here to show you. If you've got the current magazine issue, then you will see it. Her parents have a farm down in Wiltshire and they get microbial extracts from the soil and create these extraordinary probiotic supplements. This is one that I've got here, which is a liquid called Biolive, and each one of these liquids contains 15 different strains of beneficial bacteria, beneficial probiotics. And we know that repopulating or keeping our microbiome really strong in terms of beneficial bacteria that can help with our immune system and help fight infection is really a very, very good starting point. And the reason that I like these liquids is that they contain 15 different varieties of beneficial bacteria and also interesting immune supporting herbs. So this one, for example, they've got one called Resistance, really good for this time of year, which contains echinacea, not just one type of echinacea, which is a herb that's been traditionally associated with helping to reduce the severity of colds and flu, for example. But the Microbes people, they use 4 different kinds. They use extracts from 2 different varieties, the leaves and the roots. So really interesting in terms of just helping to support the microbiome. And we know that the gut produces around 80% of our immune system. So that's a huge amount of our immunity that is coming from our gut. So really thinking about how we can better support our gut health, I think, is a really good way of stepping into this cold and cough and flu season. And we're all so much more susceptible now, aren't we? Having been locked up and kept away from other people for so long. Of course, now that we are out and about, we're more susceptible. So really important to think about how we can support our gut health. Having things like plain live yogurt, kefir, kombucha, kimchi, all those gut health goodies that I talk about all the time is really good. If you head to leapfrog.com, by the way, you will find a whole section on gut health and you can download free recipes, podcasts. There's lots more here on YouTube that you can find as well. So yeah, I've got tutorials making kefir and yogurt and sauerkraut. So I hope you enjoy some of those. But this, I think, a little spoonful of this every day, certainly through the winter months, can be very good news indeed. Now, the other person that I also did a podcast with recently and also had on my Instagram live was Stephanie, who is a former journalist and a founder of this little company that make these things, and it's called Leapfrog. Leapfrog is the company, and it is basically lactoferrin. And we've written about this on the Earle Wellbeing website. Lactoferrin is another really interesting natural ingredient. You find it in breast milk. So babies have a lot of lactoferrin to help get their immune system off to a good start when they are growing. And in fact, colostrum, which is that really thick, yellowy substance that actually is produced before breast milk. So that's the first thing that babies get, is full of lactoferrin. And Stephanie was a young mum. She was just fed up with her kids bringing back endless bugs from school at this time of year, particularly in the autumn. And she did some research and she came across this ingredient, lactoferrin. And if you have a look on PubMed, which is the website that produces so much documented peer-reviewed studies from the medical world, huge amounts to say on lactoferrin. And I have to say, I have been taking this every day. You can see this is my blister pack. You just take one a day, it dissolves in the mouth. And it's really helpful for the immune system. And in particular, if you feel yourself coming down with a cough or a cold, at the first sign, just take a couple of these and the chances are it helps to stop it in its tracks. I'm sitting here in my Earle Wellbeing studios and my entire team have tested Leapfrog. And they have got on really well with it, particularly at the first case of, or first symptom rather, of coming down with anything. they just find that it's super helpful. So have a look at their website, have a look at their reviews. I think it's something that is actually worth knowing about, lactoferrin. The other interesting ingredient that I've been looking at is one from another company that I've connected with over the years here, and that is the Naked Pharmacy. You may have seen me podcasting or doing Instagram lives with their founder, Kevin Levers. He is a qualified pharmacist, used to work in big pharmaceutical organizations, and realized that there was a lot of natural ingredients that weren't being used by big pharma. And he decided to set up his company called the Naked Pharmacy. And everything that he produces, interesting supplements, go take a look. They've got really good things. Everything is backed with clinical trials and evidence-based research. So it's another great British brand that I trust. We have got Liz Love's affiliate discounts with a lot of these companies, by the way. So I'll put links in the little bit of blurb with YouTube. So if you go onto these websites and you use Liz Loves, which is all one word in capitals, then that's an affiliate link discount code that gets you between 15 and 20% off everything on their websites, which is worth knowing. So one of the things that I've been looking at from the Naked Pharmacy is called olive leaf. And this has a really interesting ingredient. This is a little bit different. It's called elenolic acid. And it is something that's found in the extracts of olive leaves. And again, clinical studies show that this helps reduce the severity and duration of coughs and colds and flu. And again, it's just helping to support the immune system, helping to increase our resistance to all these many cough and cold and flu bugs that are around at the moment. So this is just a food supplement. I take 2 capsules every morning, just at this time of year. So olive leaf extract, something, watch out for it. We're going to be hearing a lot more about it, I think, in the future. And that is from Naked Pharmacy. Something else which you probably will already know about and hopefully be doing is vitamin D. Vitamin D, otherwise known as the sunshine vitamin, because we synthesize it through our skin during the summer months. Obviously, what happens at this time of year? Not so much sun, ergo not so much vitamin D. And even the British government advises everybody to be taking vitamin D supplements. This is the one that I take, it's Better You. I really like it because it's a spray. Literally, one spray under the tongue is very good value. That's giving me 3,000 international units with one spray. And I think it's really good to take things sublingually, and that means under the tongue. What happens is it really bypasses the stomach and the liver, so it's absorbed much more quickly. It doesn't go through what's known as the first pass through the liver, where things start to get broken down. Often if you're taking a supplement, you will have to have higher amounts because things get broken down by the stomach acid, so therefore you need to overload your supplement to be sure that you're getting even just a small amount through. Whereas if you can take things either in a powder or a liquid or a chewable form that goes straight through the mucous membranes in the mouth, taking something under the tongue can be a really quick way of absorbing, making sure that you're getting the full amount of the nutrient into the system. So I take at least 3,000 units of vitamin D every day. I've done the nutrigenomic genetic testing. I show that I actually don't transport vitamin D very well around the body. I have that genetic variance, which means that I need to take more. So I'll take actually anything between 3,000 and 9,000 international units a day. So you can get yourself tested. Better You have tests on their website that you can do. You can go to your GP, you can ask for a blood test. But it's really interesting to find out your baseline vitamin D and just see how much more you may need. And we know, for example, that vitamin D is very protective for the immune system. We know that you have better outcomes with COVID, for example, if you have high levels of vitamin D. They saw that with the number of people that were being admitted to intensive care, more people with lower levels of vitamin D than those who had higher levels, who seemed to perhaps be in some way protected. So vitamin D, we need it more than ever as we go into the winter months. So do make sure that however you get it, whether you're taking it in tablets or liquids or sprays, that you are making sure that your vitamin D is up. Your levels are kept up through the winter months. And then lastly, another company, again, that I've talked about off and on over the last year or two, is a company called Life Armor. And as their name suggests, they provide an armory of interesting supplements and nutrition and ways to stay well. This one in particular, good for this time of year, it's called Drops of Immunity. And again, you take it sublingually, so you can just have a few drops on the tongue or under the tongue. And this has got adaptogenic herbs in it. And it's got one herb in particular that I really like called holy basil. And holy basil has been shown to help with stress, to help with our resistance, to help support the immune system. Lots of other really interesting herbs in here as well. I'll pop a link in the comment section so you can take a look at everything that's in here. But I think using some of these natural herbs, things like elderberry, which you've got in this extract as well, is just all very useful ways to top up our armory. So I think fundamentally, just to do a very quick recap, think about your gut health. Think about how you can support and increase the diversity of probiotics, of the good beneficial bacteria in your gut. Maybe start eating a bit more plain live yogurt, have a bit more kefir, a bit more kombucha. If you want to think of a supplement like the microbes, I think that's a very useful thing to do. I personally would always have lactoferrin in my medicine box. If you want to take it for a month on, month off, that's why it's called leapfrog, because you can leapfrog month on, month off, or just have it in your first aid kit, if you like, so that the first sense of something, you start to take it. Have a look, check out olive leaf, check out this very interesting newish supplement and see how that can help also with coughs and colds. Make sure you've got your vitamin D, keep yourself topped up with that. And then look at something like Life Armor, looking at those adaptogenic herbs, things like holy basil, ingredients like elderberry, which are so useful at this time of year. So I hope that's helpful. Do drop a comment below. Let me know what you're taking. Let me know what you found really helpful for this time of year for helping to keep the coughs and colds and the flu bugs at bay. I'd love to hear your comments. And as always, head over to lizearlewellbeing.com. You'll find links to all of these things. You'll find discount codes as well if you want to try anything. But do check out their websites. These brands are very good. They're well researched and they do put a lot of data on their website so that you can go and check them out for yourself and learn more. Stay well. I'll see you here again next week. Bye-bye.